Hi, this is Michael Nelson, the Cogent Coach, with a quick video on how much do your customers want to pay. If you're like most small business owners, myself included, the answer to that isn't so easy to come by. On the other hand, it's absolutely important. What would it be worth to you to know what your customers want to pay? What would it mean to your marketing? How would it help your profitability? Your peace of mind? Your future? I think for most of us, it would mean we would be a much more profitable business. Knowing what your customers want to pay mean that we can make a lot of decisions in our business that are much easier to make and much more beneficial. So how do we find out? What's the easiest way to tell? How can we find out how much our customers want to pay? Well, you can guess, which a lot of us have done in the past, but I finally developed a framework that I use and I want to share it with you today, and I call it the WRAP pricing framework. The W is for researching your product or service. There's 5 W questions that go with that, that's why it's W. R is for researching your market and environment. A, you then analyze that information that you've collected, and P, you prove it, because until then it's a hypothesis. So let's take each of these one at a time and look at how we can make these work for us. So we're going to gather some information. We're researching our product or service. And a lot of us think it's easy. We know exactly what our product is. We know what our service is. So what do we mean by researching your product and service? Here we're very specifically talking about what does it mean to your customer, answering it from their point of view. What problem does it solve? Typically, it's helping them reach a goal, solve a pain point, or it might be compliance, if you're in legal, accounting, human resources, or something like that. Who needs to solve that problem? You need to be really clear on that. Who is this a problem for? And when is it a problem? Is it always a problem? Is it a problem at particular times of the year, at life events? When is it a problem? Then why is your solution the best? Because there's probably a number of different ways they can solve this. Why do they come to you? What makes yours the best? And if your answer is price, you're in a bad spot. Competing on price is a really good way to go out of business because someone's going to come along and undercut you. So you have to know why your solution is the best. And then last, where are your customers and how do you reach them? So then let's look at how we're going to take this research a little bit further. And we're going to research our market and our environment. And what do we mean by that? Well, we want to know who our competitors are, right? Who's out there selling a similar solution or selling a solution to our particular problem that we're solving, right? Who else sells it? What do they charge? What are their price points? We don't necessarily want to know because we're trying to compete on price, but we want to know what does that solution sell for and how similar is it to what we're selling for, because now we're starting to see what that solution is worth. Who do they sell to? And we can look at their ads, we can give them a call, we can look at their website. Who are their customers? Who are they targeting? And what are their characteristics of their service, of their product? Do they have guarantees? How long are they? How do they deliver? Do they charge for delivery? Everything about them that you can find out, you want to know. How do they sell? Are they selling online? Do they sell by phone? Do they sell in stores? And then do they have sales? Are they actually selling a lot of this? And there's ways to find out. For instance, if it's a product that someone's selling online, you can go to ClickBank, which is a place where affiliates can go to sell someone else's product, and you can see whose products are selling. So you can know this is a really profitable area, or hey, there's a product there and it hasn't sold anything. So you can start to tell a little bit about their sales. You can also look at their advertising. You'll understand how much they're paying to advertise. How long have they advertised somewhere? That tells you if they're advertising for a long time, then they're making money doing that. So there's a lot of ways that we want to look at different aspects of the market, of the environment, and see what else is out there so that we can shape our marketing, we can understand our pricing, and we can start to dig into those answers a bit. Now, once we've collected all this information, what do we do with it? Well, we have to make sense of it. We have to fit it all together. Remember, we've looked at our product, our service. We've looked at our competitors. We've looked at the environment. Now, what does all this mean to us? How are we going to take all this information and make it useful? Well, we want to start with a problem-solution fit. That problem that we found, are we a good solution for it? Or is it something, and you see this a lot, where there's a problem and the solution that someone's trying to sell solves that problem, and like a Swiss Army knife solves 27 other problems, which makes it really hard for people to tell that this is their solution, right? So don't oversell, don't overclutter what you're trying to sell, make it clear. And is there a solution and a market fit? Does that solution, your product, your service, have a place in the market? Or is it something where not many people really want that? Yeah, it's a great solution and it solves that problem, but there's not enough of a market to make it a viable business product for you. What kind of different levels of value can you have? You may have seen people who sell a book, then they might sell an audio version of that book. You see that on Amazon a lot, right? You buy a book and they offer to sell you the recording of it so you can listen to it in your car. It's the same product. They've just had someone read it and added it and added the audio. Now they've got another product, and you can do that with yours too. How are you going to market it? Right now you've pulled together all your customers' information, your stuff, your information, your competitors, and you start to get a feel for how you're going to market it, and you plot your course, your messaging, where you're going to sell, how you're going to sell. And then you also, in the course of doing this, you've had an opportunity to develop your pricing thoughts a little bit more robustly. Right? You kind of know what you want going in, you know what that sweet spot is, or you think you do. And now once you've collected all that information, you're going to analyze it and see, does that make sense where you were? Do you need to adjust what your initial thoughts were, etc.? And then from this, we're going to take it to the next step, which is moving from our hypothesis, what we believe to be the case, and proving it. Right? We don't want to go out there and try and sell based on our thoughts and our ideas. We want to go out and test it. Right? We want to get out of the building. We want to interact with our customers, get their feedback. We've created a funnel, or we had the ideas. Now we want to build a test funnel. We don't have to do the full robust funnel with an email sequence and everything, but we can test certain parts of it. We can test a landing page. We can test the marketing, and we can see what the response is. And if the response is low, we can keep tweaking that until we find out exactly what the message is. Then we can build the next part, so that every part that we build, we know works. And we don't spend a month building something and then launch it to silence. And then we fine tune it, right? We go through a couple cycles of this, and then we're going to launch. Right now, you have a fairly confident set of information and ideas, or that you're confident in, about what your product's worth, what it does, who it does it for, how you're going to sell it, what your funnel looks like. You've tested it, and now you have a really good idea of what your sales could be. So if we go back to that second thing that I mentioned about what would it be worth to you to know exactly what your customer wants to pay, now you see where that leads you. It builds that whole structure around that information and says, okay, now this is how I'm going to take this product to market. I can build some strategy around it. I can build some long-term goals. I can figure out what my cost is, because now I know how I'm going to sell it exactly. I know what my cost is to sell it and deliver it to my customers. Now I can figure out, well, what's my profitability? All of these things start to work once you've gone through this process about pricing, because it pulls together all the rest of the elements of your business that deal with profit and revenue, and it brings them together into a cohesive picture. And a lot of times in small business, that's one of the things that we're really lacking. We get distracted. We look for the next best thing. You call it shiny ball syndrome. The next bright thing goes by and you chase that. You buy a course on this or that, and you keep learning, and you don't really ever get to the doing. And this is the one area that I've found in having a business for 20 plus years, in coaching hundreds of business owners. It's the one unifying aspect that can bring all those other areas together in a way that makes sense. Because it's great to know all the different tools that can go into a funnel, but they're meaningless without the bigger context of what you're doing with that funnel and what it means to your business. So the framework here is pretty simple. You'll get into the steps, and I'll share some more as time goes on about more specifically how to do each of these things. But if you're industrious, you can take a lot of this right now and go out and be light years ahead of where you were before if this has been a confusing issue for you. So I encourage you to take action. Go out and try this for yourself. And I really want to say thanks for spending a few minutes with me here to talk about funnels. Thanks for listening. I'm glad that you've been here. And I want to give you a copy of this RAP pricing framework, I call it. And it's on my website. You can go to thecogentcoach.com. I'm Michael Nelson, the Cogent Coach. Thanks for listening. You go to my website, any of the sign-up forms that you see that mention the pricing framework, we'll send you, once you sign up, we'll send you a quick article and infographic about how to put it to use. And blend it, we'll go through this video with it when you have that in hand. Just take a while, internalize it, go through it a couple of times. I think it'll do great things for your business. Thanks again for being here. Take care. Have a great day.